Hi, welcome to mood lighting. We've got to do this in the dark. I had the overhead light on, but it was like really bright. And so I decided to go for mood lighting, and I think it'll work. I think it'll be fine. I do have my computer open over here, which may be reflecting oddly in my glasses. I want to make sure that let's close it for now. And that'll get rid of the weird blue light. And then we'll open it up at the end to double check that I haven't forgotten anything, because I may not have physical copies of all the things that I want to consider reading in the month of December, because that's why we're here. Hello, my name is Jenna. This is Books Love Jenna. This is my very chaotic bookshelf behind me, my Christmas tree, perfect for a December TBR, which is what this is, a December TBR. So let's begin first with books that I will definitely read that are not really Christmassy. These two I've already put out a dedicated video for the Books Love Everyone book group. These are our picks for December 2025. And if you want to know more about them, you can watch that video. It's very short. There's lots of cute Lola footage in it. But that's Eiffel Tower and Gilded Wolves. So those will definitely be read. My last Catherine Center for the year. I've read one a month for the last 12 months, so that I will have read her entire backlist, most currently published, as well, the one that was published this year. So I've now read everything, once I finish this one, I've now read everything written by this woman that has been published so far. I am hopeful of getting an arc. Since The Bodyguard, I've gotten an arc of each of her books months before they've come out for each year, and that has been an absolute joy, because I love her writing. But I don't know if I'll get an arc either way. I think her next book comes out in May of 2026. I may go through some Catherine Center withdrawals, but we will see. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Reading every Catherine Center this year has been one of the best decisions I've made in a really long time. It's balm for my soul. So the last one I have is The Lost Husband. I am aware that there is a movie out about this, or covering this story. I have not watched that movie. I did watch Happiness for Beginners a few years ago. When it first came out, I'd already read the book. And then when I read the book this year, I rewatched Happiness for Beginners. And when I finish reading The Lost Husband, I'm sure I'll watch The Lost Husband movie. I don't really know what this is about, so let's find out. It says, "Dear Libby, it occurs to me that you and your 2 children have been living with your mother for, dear Lord, 2 whole years, and I'm writing to see if you'd like to be rescued." The letter comes out of the blue, and just in time for Libby Moran, who, after the sudden death of her husband Danny, went to stay with her hypercritical mother. Now her crazy Aunt Jean has offered Libby an escape, a job, and a place to live on her farm in the Texas Hill Country. Before she can talk herself out of it, Libby is packing the minivan, grabbing the kids, and hitting the road. Life on Aunt Jean's goat farm is both more wonderful and more mysterious than Libby could have ever imagined. Beyond the animals and the strenuous work, there's quiet, deep country quiet. But there is also a shaggy, gruff, though purportedly handsome under all that hair, farm manager with a tragic home life, a formerly famous feed store clerk who claims she can contact Danny on the other side, and the eccentric aunt Libby never really knew, but who turns out to be exactly what she's been looking for. And despite everything she's lost, Libby soon realizes how much more she's found. She hasn't just traded one kind of crazy for another. She may actually have found the place to bring her little family and herself back to life. The Lost Husband, the last one, and it sounds like it's going to be a good one. They're all good, but it sounds like it's going to be exceptionally good. My last 12 in 12 challenge book is by William Maxwell. It's super short, so that's lovely. And it's called So Long, See You Tomorrow. This is recommended by my friend Hannah. And it says, in this magically evocative novel, William Maxwell explores the enigmatic gravity of the past, which compels us to keep explaining it, even as it makes liars out of us every time we try. On a winter morning in the 1920s, a shot rings out on a farm in rural Illinois. A man named Lloyd Wilson has been killed, and the tenuous friendship between two lonely teenagers, one privileged yet neglected, the other a troubled farm boy, has been shattered. 50 years later, one of those boys, now a grown man, tries to reconstruct the events that led up to the murder. In doing so, he is inevitably drawn back to his lost friend Cletus, who had the misfortune of being the son of Wilson's killer, and who in the months before witnessed things that Maxwell's narrator can only guess at. Out of the memory and imagination, the surmises of children, and the destructive passion of their parents, Maxwell creates a luminous American classic of youth and loss. Sounds intense for such a short, very short little book. There are two more that aren't really Christmas books that I would just like to read. They're not for any purpose except for my own enjoyment. One is Kate DiCamillo's The Beatrice Prophecy. I listened to this a couple of years ago and I remember really liking it, but I don't remember it. Like, I don't remember what it's about. And so a friend gave me their copy of this. They no longer wanted it. And I am excited because I didn't know, having only listened to it and never really picked up a physical copy of it, that there are amazing illustrations throughout. So I'm just really looking forward to reading this a little bit more slowly, and I think the Christmas season will be a magical time to read that. Oh, let's find out what it's about. There is one creature that the monks of the Chronicles of Sorrowing fear above all others, and Swelika the goat. And Swelika, probably, the goat. The monks fear her sharp teeth and her hard head and her wily ways, and so imagine Brother Edict's terror when he goes to feed on Swelika one morning and finds a child in the pen with the demon goat. Some of this is coming back to me now. The child does not know where she came from. She does not know who her people are. She remembers one thing only, her name, Beatrice. The king's men, however, know who the child is, and they are searching for her. I am remembering the goat. I am. Okay, the other thing, I'm so behind on Book of the Month books. For years, I have done so well with reading the books the month that they arrive, but I've been getting books that don't really fit the vibe of the month that I receive them, and so I keep setting them to the side to read at a later month, and thus I am behind. So I have Thea Wise's The Second Chance Cinema. This feels like a Christmas or a New Year book to me. I might save it and read it in that in-between time, in between Christmas and the New Year. I got this in October. It says, at the end of a dark alley glitter the lights of a glamorous cinema. It's nearly impossible to find. When Ellie and her fiancé Drake stumble upon it during a late-night walk, they're shocked to discover what's playing inside the red velvet auditorium, their formative memories. Drake is nervous about what the cinema might reveal, but he eventually gives in when Ellie insists they return for more viewings. She's haunted by a night from her past that she doesn't fully remember, and this could be her only opportunity to piece the story back together. But as their memories projected on the screen inch closer to the present, they realize they're both keeping secrets from each other. With their wedding on the horizon, Ellie and Drake must decide if seeing their pasts changes their plans for a future together. Filled with warmth, hope, and a dash of magic, The Second Chance Cinema is both an enchanting escape and a thought-provoking examination of how our memories shape who we are. Yeah, this really sounds like that interim time kind of read for me, so I'm excited about that. Then I have some holiday adjacent books. I have 3 holiday adjacent books that I would like to read. One takes place in the same world as This Is Happiness by Niall Williams, which I read earlier this year for Books Love Everyone book group, which I love so much, so much. And as soon as I had finished that one, I grabbed this one and realized this is holiday adjacent. So it takes place in the same world. I don't know if it has the same characters, but this is Time of the Child. And it says, Dr. Jack Troy was born and raised in Faha, but his responsibilities for the sick and his care for the dying mean he has always been set apart from the town. His eldest daughter, Ronnie, has grown up in her father's shadow and remains there, having missed one chance at love and passed up another offer of marriage from an unsuitable man. But in the Advent season of 1962, as the town readies itself for Christmas, Ronnie's and Dr. Troy's lives are turned upside down when a baby is left in their care. As the winter passes, fathers' and daughters' lives, the understanding of their family, and their role in their community are changed forever. Set over the course of one December in the same village as Williams's beloved This Is Happiness, Time of the Child is a tender return to Faha for readers who know its charms and a heartwarming welcome to new readers entering for the very first time. Okay, so this has nothing to do with the characters. They might show up, I guess. This has nothing to do with the characters or the storyline from This Is Happiness, but it's in the same world, and I'm really excited to get back to Faha. I hope Noel Williams writes many, many more books set in this community. It is an absolute joy. Also, holiday adjacent and of a different feel, a different ilk altogether, is Kate Morton's Homecoming. Now, I did start reading this last year and wasn't feeling it, but I am feeling it this year. I am definitely feeling it this year. So this is about a murder. So this says Adelaide Hills, Christmas Eve, 1959. At the end of a scorching hot day, beside a creek on the ground of a grand country house, a local man makes a terrible discovery. Police are called, and the small town of Tambilla, or Tambilla, I don't know, Tambilla is what I would say, becomes embroiled in one of the most baffling murder investigations in the history of South Australia. Many years later, and thousands of miles away, Jess is a journalist in search of a story. Having lived and worked in London for nearly 2 decades, she now finds herself unemployed and struggling to make ends meet. A phone call summons her back to Sydney, where her beloved grandmother Nora, who raised Jess when her mother could not, has suffered a fall and is seriously ill in the hospital. At Nora's house, Jess discovers a true crime book chronicling a long-buried police case, the Turner family tragedy of 1959. It is only when Jess skims through its pages that she finds a shocking connection between her own family and this notorious event. A mystery that has never been satisfactorily resolved. An epic story that spans generations. Homecoming asks what we would do for those we love, how we protect the lies we tell, and what it means to come home. Above all, it is an intricate and spellbinding novel from one of the finest writers working today. So, I did read the whole setup of this. If you've read this, I read all through the picnic and the discovery. So not very far, but enough to kind of get the feel. I definitely knew I wanted to read this, but I also definitely knew I didn't want to read this last year. So I set it to the side. It's calling to me now. It's calling to me now. So this year I would like to read Homecoming. Also, holiday adjacent, a book I have never read before, don't be shocked. I happened to get this really, really beautiful 10th anniversary edition. It's such a pretty book, so I hope I love this. I think I will. I got it for very inexpensively from Book Outlet, and that is Rainbow Rowell's Fangirl. And I actually didn't know until I saw this cover that this would be holiday adjacent. I have an idea of what Fangirl is. I've actually read, what's the book called that is the book that's about the characters that this character Fangirl's about? I've read that like Harry Potter-esque book, but I haven't actually read the book that they originated in, which is Fangirl. What is that? Carry On. I've read Carry On. I know that I enjoy Rainbow Rowell. I've watched a movie adaptation of one of her books, but I don't know which book. Maybe Landline. Was that made into a movie? And I think I like her storytelling. I think I do. So I'm hopeful that I will just absolutely love this. It doesn't really tell us what it's about in here. Oh, yes, it does. At the back. You have to look at the back. So let's look at this first. So it says, "Read to me, sweetheart." Got all of this beautiful, I love the little bunnies. All right. Beautiful end papers. illustrations throughout at the ends and the beginnings, chapters. Okay, so it says, Kath is a Simon Snow fan. I know who Simon Snow is. I love that. Kath is a Simon Snow fan. Okay, the whole world is a Simon Snow fan. But for Kath, being a fan is her life, and she's really good at it. She and her twin sister Rin ensconced themselves in the Simon Snow series when they were just kids. It's what got them through their mother leaving. Reading, rereading, hanging out in Simon Snow forums, writing Simon Snow fan fiction, dressing up like the characters for every movie premiere. Kath's sister has mostly grown away from fandom, but Kath can't let go. She doesn't want to. Now that they're going to college, Rin has told Kath that she doesn't want to be roommates. Kath is on her own, completely outside of her comfort zone. She's got a surly roommate with a charming, always-around boyfriend, a fiction-writing professor who thinks fan fiction is the end of the civilized world, a handsome classmate who only wants to talk about words, and she can't stop worrying about her dad, who's loving and fragile and has never really been alone. For Kath, the question is, can she do this? Can she make it without Rin holding her hand? Is she ready to start living her own life, and does she even want to move on if it means leaving Simon Snow behind? That sounds lovely. That sounds lovely. All right, so I've got those. And then I have this small stack of winter themed books, or books set in winter. One is Tisha by Robert Sprecht and Tisha. It is the wonderful true love story of a young teacher in the Alaskan wilderness. And I think this is pretty old. It was giving me Christie vibes. So I picked up a super cheap used copy. Yeah, this is from 1976. And it says, Annie Hobbs was only 19 in 1927 when she came to harsh and beautiful Alaska. Running a ramshackle school would expose her to more than just the elements. After she allowed Native American children into her class and fell in love with a half-Inuit man, she would learn the meaning of prejudice and perseverance, irrational hatred and unconditional love. People get as mean as the weather, she discovered, but they were all also capable of great good. As told to Robert Sprecht, Anne Hobbs's true story has captivated generations of readers. Now the beautiful new edition is available to inspire many more. So I think this beautiful, beautiful new edition is from the 80s. But I got this lovely, lovely copy, and I said, last year I read Mrs. Mike, which is kind of similar to this. The year before I read Christie, which I absolutely was head over heels for. And this is giving me those kinds of vibes. I like to read a book like that when I can get my hands on one. This is so wintry. It's literally got winter in the title. It is a truly, absolutely gorgeous book. So this is Karen Millwood Hargrave's The Way Past Winter. Would you look at this? On the back, it says that it was Blackwood's Children's Book of the Year in, what year? What year would that have been? 2020? No, 2018. 2018. I've never read it, but I did read the one that she wrote about the women on the island, which is not listed here. What is that one called? I don't remember, but I read the historical fiction one about the women on the island and all the men that die in the fishing accident, and the priest that's there, or the pastor that's there with his young wife, and how they are very upset because the women have taken over all the men's jobs because the men aren't there to do them and they didn't want to die. And it takes place in like the 16 or 1700s, and it's based on a true story. I can't remember what it's called. Is it The Sirens? Maybe it's The Sirens. I don't know. I loved that book. I read it years ago, and I've only read it once. I'm due for a reread soon, I think. But it was heartbreaking. But I would like to read this one based on the cover, but also based on the fact that I know that I really liked her writing. I also have her one about the dancing plague, which has been really hard. I've tried to get into it twice, been really hard to get into. It starts so dark and dry, and I've just been having a hard time getting into that one. I do still want to read it. I know that there is a really big payoff for the hard work that she requires of you. And her writing is beautiful, but I know that there's always like a really big emotional payoff with her. And so I want to read it, but I haven't really found my groove with it yet. But I think that a middle grade will be very, very accessible. Not only is the desk jacket beautiful, but the book itself is beautiful. I believe I got this for like $6, $5.95 from Book Outlet. If you're not using Book Outlet or Better World Books for the majority of your book buying, and you buy a lot of books because you like to have them when you love them, then you probably should start checking it out because it is awesome. This says, someone has killed the heart tree. Oh, someone has killed the heart tree. Mila loves her home, her forest, and her sled dogs, but all is not well in the wintry world where she lives with her sisters, Pippa and Sana, and their brother Oscar. Ever since their father mysteriously left 5 years ago, winter has remained with never a spring in sight. Like Narnia, always winter, but never Christmas. And now a strange, scary man, flanked with young boys, has appeared seeking shelter. By the next morning, they've gone, and they've taken Oscar with them. A little Pied Piper action, maybe? Mila is determined to bring Oscar back, even though it means going north, crossing frozen, wild lands to find a way past an eternal winter. She can't imagine everything she'll encounter. Untrustworthy mages, harrowing chases, magical waterfalls, but she'll stop at nothing to rescue her brother and set her world back to normal. And if she gets her way, he's not the only one she'll rescue. Thrilling, vivid, and deeply engrossing, this page-turning adventure of family, resilience, and magic will have every reader believing in the power of love to save the things we hold most dear. I think that's also holiday adjacent. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Very much looking forward to that. This is another one that a friend passed on a copy to me of, and same friend, same pile. And I have never read this. I did watch the movie, which I did not like, which made me think I don't want to read the books, but I have been informed that the books are so much better. And I can't not read this copy of this book, because this copy of this book is amazing. And that is Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials, The Golden Compass, book 1. But look at the copy she gave me. Look at this. It has a little bit of gentle love and wear and tear, but what? It's beautiful. Beautiful. It's in this double line format, and it has color. Whoa, I'm gonna kill myself doing this. It has color. We can't really tell that's color, but that is color. Illustrations throughout. And I have never read these books. And I am hopeful that I will love these books. I think that having this experience in a December is going to be the thing that, if anything, is going to pull me into these books after disliking that movie. This will be it. This will be the thing that pulls me in. So this says, well, do I really need to tell you what the Golden Compass is about? Because I'm probably the only person our age left on the planet that hasn't heard of it or read it. I mean, I've heard of it. I don't think I need to tell you what it's about. I think you've probably read it and are going, what? She's never read that? So I will be reading The Golden Compass in this gorgeous, gorgeous copy and hoping that I fall in love with it. All right, and here's one I picked up in the summer and saved until December to read, and that is Susan Branch's Martha's Vineyard, Isle of Dreams. I knew that I wanted to read this, but I think it's gone out of print or something. Everywhere you look, they're so expensive, but I found a copy. I was trolling it for over a year and I found a very cheap copy, and it's beautiful and almost perfect on Abe Books, or maybe it was Thrift Books. I don't remember, but a used copy popped up and it was very affordable. And this one, obviously, is Susan Branch's journal, Martha's Vineyard, Isle of Dreams. I read, the one, A Fine Romance. I read the one where she goes to England with her young husband, her new husband, who's a little bit slightly younger than her. And I know that in Martha's Vineyard, Isle of Dreams, this takes place before that, before she meets him, and yet I think after her divorce. I won't probably ever read her first book that she put out, which is about her marriage to her now ex-husband, the one that she leaves or loses, that causes this book to happen, or the events in this book to take place. But if you are not familiar with Susan Branch, she has put out these beautiful journals, which are memoirs, recipes, book recommendations, travel logs, just all sorts of things. And she hand draws everything, and she hand writes everything, and there are photographs, real photographs of things. She puts little histories and asides and all sorts of information. It's like reading, it's like sitting, oh, I keep moving the thing. There's not much room on the table right now. It's like sitting down and having a cup of tea with someone, a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and just having a chat and chatting all afternoon, and your conversation takes you everywhere, personal and improbable and fantastical and memory, nostalgic. It just goes everywhere. And that's what it's like reading these. Oh, the book names are down here. It says Martha's Vineyard, Isle of Dreams is part of a 3-part book trilogy to be read in any order, but in order they are Fairy Tale Girl, which is the one I probably won't ever read. This one, Martha's Vineyard, which I'm going to read in December, and A Fine Romance, which I have already read and genuinely loved so much. I think it really had a lot to do with giving me the tiny push I needed to make that trip that I took with the girls at school in April to England happen. Honestly, I think it really did. But here we go. Maybe this one will make me move to Martha's Vineyard. Doubtful. It says, in the deep, dark winter of 1982, suffering with a broken heart from lost love and actually lost entire life, I ran away from my home in California in an effort to escape the pain with a 3-month respite on the island of Martha's Vineyard. Within days of arriving, slightly delirious and with no thinking going on, I accidentally bought a tiny cottage in the woods. I couldn't help it. It was just my size, and it has the most wonderful stove in it, which meant I was moving to New England, something I'd dreamed of but never actually planned to do. Never having experienced the seasons, it was a brand new world, which included leaf raking and snow shoveling. It was also the perfect place to start over, build new life, dream new dreams, and look for fairy tales lost. Lonely, a stranger in a strange land, I had my diary as my best friend, where I wrote everything down. Those diaries are the inspiration for this book. 1982, such a lovely place. I'm really looking forward to this one. I've been waiting for it most of the year. Now we get into it, because that's a lot of books, and I don't know how many of them I will read. Probably quite a few. December is a big reading month for me. December, traditionally for me, is a huge reading month usually. So I will probably get through quite a few of these, but I have not shown you the stack of Kristen's books I have been hoarding away like a little squirrel for this month, for December 2025. So every year I read, and I have done since, 2021, 2020? Probably since 2020. I have found that I really enjoy short stories that are Christmas related. I'm not a big short story reader otherwise, but I really love Christmas stories that are, I really love short stories that are winter, Christmas, that time frame related. And so I have been gathering short story collections to read one a day as a kind of advent towards Christmas morning. And this year I found 2 ways to kind of do that. One is very new for me and I'm excited about it. I did collect one book of short stories. These are Marcia Willett's short stories, Christmas at the Keep and Other Stories. Sometimes the hardest journeys lead you back home. Isn't that book just gorgeous? I did read a Marcia Willett, a Christmassy Marcia Willett, or a wintry Marcia Willett last year at this time, and it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't great. Is there a list of her books? What was that? A Week in Winter. I read A Week in Winter last year at this time. And it was okay. I wanted it to have more warmth to it. I wanted it, I think, to be more like Winter Solstice. But it's not going to be Rosamund Pilcher because it's Marcia Willett, right? But I think that I will enjoy her in these small story length chunks. Oh, I just realized that if you get the light just right, you can see it a little bit, then the whole thing, there's lights on the whole building, on the trees, on the snow. It just lights up. That's lovely. Okay. Oh, we have a family tree. This may be more involved than I thought. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 short stories, but the writing and the print in this is huge with huge margins. So I think it will be very easy to read one of these a day for 8 days. It says the moving and uplifting festive novella, but it says other stories. I'm so confused. Nestled in the Devon countryside, the Keep has always been a refuge for the Chadwicks, even Ed, the black sheep of the family. When Ed finally returns to the Keep after 10 years living in the USA, his strange, secretive behavior means that he often clashes with his relatives. But as the autumn draws to a close and a sprinkling of snow dusts the moors, could the promise of a family Christmas at the Keep be enough to ease tensions and soothe the sting of a long-buried secret? Now featuring a selection of short stories collected together for the first time. There are ghosts and friends from the past here, restless wives and surprising romances, gifts from lovers old and new, full of life and love. So, okay. So there are short stories in here, but there is also a novella. Gotcha. Okay. So it looks like that is Christmas at the Keep. And then we have some very, very short stories. We're talking like flash fiction short. Okay, so I will have to figure that out. I'll have to figure out how to read this a little bit differently. I think this will cover more than 8 days. Okay, awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. I don't mind a novella. In fact, I prefer a novella, but I can still read one chapter at a time. So that's exciting. Speaking of one chapter at a time and Advents, I did a thing. I got Sophie Germain's Advent romance, A Heart for Christmas. This is 24 chapters to open before Christmas. So each chapter is ensconced inside its own little package with a date on it. And I can't access the pages until that date. It says, and I will definitely maybe be taking this and using the end flaps, at least one of them, maybe the one at the back, as a bookmark. Look how gorgeous that is. So beautiful. Anyway, it says, welcome. Open a sealed chapter every day and discover the next chapter in this Christmas story set in a ski resort in the French Alps. Make sure you have a letter opener or ruler and a hot chocolate by your side. Happy reading. It says April is headed to the foothills of Mont Blanc in the Alps to spend Christmas at her father's chalet for the first time in 3 years. Ever since her heart operation, she's lived as carefully as possible, but it's time for a change. All April wants for the holidays is to take back her life. But how do you find the courage to live after being so afraid for so long? when April runs into her best friend's older brother, Augustine, ski instructor extraordinaire, it feels like a sign. Augustine is daring and swoon-worthy, and April doesn't want to let her life pass her by any longer. It's as complicated as it gets, but this might be just the kind of Christmas miracle she needs. 1 month to make my heart beat. one month to make my heart beat. All right, that sounds fun, and I'll read a chapter a day. I'm toying with the idea of doing a reading vlog for that one. Okay, this was a used copy, obviously, from Better World Books, but I have The Mistletoe Mystery, a Maid novella. I did try to read this last year, but I only had the audio from Libby, and I do want the audio from Libby, but I also want to have it in front of me and read it. I also have, if the novella is not enough for me, because I love the Maid series, I have somewhere on my shelf here the latest installment of the Maid. I think it came out this year, which I haven't got to yet, which I would like to. If I don't get to it though in December, that's fine. I'll get to it next year. I listened to this last year. I didn't buy a copy of it because every time I buy a copy of a Jenny Bayliss novel, I'm like, oh, that was awful. Every single time. And so I didn't buy this, but I was curious. I was interested in the premise. And so I just got it from Libby and I listened to it and I just loved it so much that I listened to it last year. It made it on my favorite books of the year list. I bought a copy when I saw that it got cheap. I bought a copy and I am going to read it this year. And I made it a pick, the December pick, one of 3 for December in 2026 for Books Love Everyone book group. I'm going to read this every year. I'm going to read this for 3 years in a row, and I don't think I'm going to be sad about that at all. I loved this so much. This is about a teacher who is a single mother, and her child has, she's friends with her ex and his new significant other. Their daughter is college age. Their daughter has gone to school in the States. They live in England. She is a teacher. She's kind of like a counselor, like a school counselor. And she does something that's incredibly out of character for her. She has a one-night stand with a guy. And it is so completely out of character that she doesn't quite know what to do. And she leaves without saying goodbye, even though she quite liked him and he was very nice. She sneaks out and thinks, okay, even though he was very nice and even though maybe that could have been something if we hadn't gone down this path I don't go down, I'm done with this. This is over. Of course, it's not over. We know that, right? She gets to school and the principal is like, well, the headmaster is like, okay, this group of kids that you've been working with, particularly this kid, they're not here today. You need to find out where they are, track them down. She tracks them to a theater where they're skipping school, an old derelict falling down theater. The fact that they are in this theater is going to lead to a bit of trouble with the law. She takes all of the blame for something that happens so that her kids don't get in trouble. And of course, the lawyer for the person who owns this theater and who is creating this chaos in her life is the guy she had the one-night stand with. Of course he is. A deal is reached where she will throw, she and the kids will pull together a production of Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol, and that will be the last production in the theater. This is such a before it gets torn down. This is such a feel-good story. It is just a warm hug of a story. Every side story about every student and all of the people who get involved in this without needing to be involved. The cantankerous old Scrooge-like character, the romance between these two, which is so wholesome and gentle and sweet. It is one of my favorite Christmas books in a really long time, really long time. And I read a lot of Christmas books. And I just cannot encourage you enough to read this one. Again, there is the one night stand. I know that's going to be a complete no for some of my viewers. I absolutely know that. It is just a blip, and it is not her norm, and I don't hold it against her. Don't hold it against her. Read this. It's really good. It's really, really good. The next one I have is one that I've heard somebody talk about. I don't know who. Now I'm obsessed with trying to take the sticker off. I got it, but I got an inexpensive copy from Better World Books. And that is Christmas with the Savages. I didn't get the sticker off, but I will. That's Christmas with the Savages by Mary Clive. And I don't remember who I heard talking about this, but it sounds delightful. Savage by name, savage by nature. Prim and proper Evelyn would far rather talk to grown-ups than play with other children. So she's somewhat dismayed at the prospect of spending Christmas with the Savages, the unruly grandchildren of her mother's old, keep getting so many texts, of her mother's old acquaintance, Lady Tamerlane. Evelyn is soon swept along with the rambunctious Savages and their outrageous games, and even begins to enjoy herself. That is, until she's unjustly accused of ruining Lionel's play. Apparently this is a classic, and I've never even heard of it, and I am excited to give it a try. First published in 1955. It's absolutely a classic, and I've never even heard of it until somebody was talking about it online on BookTube, and I got excited. I got this one from Book Outlet, and this is the kind of Christmas book that I really love. This is giving me Mimi Matthews, that Victorian Christmas book that she wrote. It's giving me those vibes, but I think this is Regency, maybe Edwardian. It's not Victorian, I don't think. Edwardian. It's Edwardian. And it is called Christmas at Sugar Plum Manor by Rosanna M. White. Look at that. Like that. Thank you. Thank you. This says, the Nutcracker and Edwardian-era England combine to weave a magical tale of love and friendship at Christmas time. As the beloved stepdaughter of the Earl of Carlston, Lady Maria Lyons cherishes her home at Plumfield Manor, but her idyllic world will be threatened when the estate passes to Cyril Lightbourne, a childhood friend she hasn't seen or heard from in a year. Once Maria dreamed their friendship would kindle into something more, but that was before she heard Cyril was courting the cruel-hearted Lady Pearl. Now Maria is willing to welcome him as a friend and pray he will be the heir her stepfather needs, but she'll keep her heart locked safely away from anyone with such poor taste. Oh, sounds like Pride and Prejudice. A little Pride and Prejudice here. Cyril Lightbourne has long avoided returning to Plumfield Manor, yet he reluctantly arrives in time for Christmas. When his friendship with Lady Maria reignites, he finds himself caught between his affection for her and her family's misunderstanding of his attachment to Lady Pearl. I think we could have seen that coming from a mile away. Then more trouble arrives in the form of a Danish lord on a mission to win Maria's hand by Christmas. That sounds sketch. Will the magic of the holiday season help lead to their discovery of true love? Oh, I think it will. Or will duty to country leave all longing for what could have been? Will it be predictable? Yes. Will it be festive? Yes. Will it be heart-poundingly lovely? I think I'm getting a package. Will it be heart-poundingly lovely? Yes. Looking forward to that one. These two are rollovers. These three are rollovers from last year. So I'm going to hold off on those. Continue talking about the new ones. I picked up an Emily Stone, even though I know Emily Stone is usually one of those like emotional, manipulative, make them cry sorts of writers. This one, it called to me. So I picked up this one. Yours for the Season. Hey Lola, come here for a minute, baby girl. Can you come here? Yeah? You think someone's here? You think I should check it out? Lola? You think so? Yeah, okay. She really is very convincing and she's given a good argument, so I'm gonna go check it out. Just some super noisy neighbors. No packages. She doesn't quite believe me. She's still walking around going, wait a minute. All right, we were talking about Emily Stone. So, Yours for the Season by Emily Stone. It says, Melanie hasn't had a good year. Her work life isn't what she dreamed it would be. Her best friend has moved to the other side of the world, and Finn, the man she was sure was the love of her life, dumped her in front of everyone at his sister's engagement party. So when Finn shows up at Mel's doorstep 2 weeks before Christmas asking if she'll help him, her first instinct is to slam the door in his face or punch him. But he has a proposal for her. Spend the week of Christmas with him and his family in a vacation cottage in the Scottish Highlands. His mother is obsessed with the idea of a perfect Christmas, and to make this dream come true, Finn told his mother that he and Mel are dating again. All Mel has to do is pretend that they're back together. Mel may hate Finn, but she loves his mom, so she agrees on one condition. At the end of the week, Finn will allow Mel to publicly dump him so that she can get her dignity back, and he can experience the same humiliation she felt. It's only a week. Mel can pretend to still be in love with Finn for 1 week, surely. Except, as the festivities bring her closer than ever to Finn and his family, Mel starts to lose track of which feelings are fake and which are real. Yeah. I'm in the mood for something like that. I picked up a new Ryan Thane. I have read several of her Christmas books in the past, and I've really enjoyed them. This one is Snow-Kissed. This is a standalone. It's not part of a series. It says, "'Tis the season for a little white lie. Christmas has always been single mom Holly Goodwin Moore's favorite time of year. The twinkly lights on the tree, the cookies in the oven, the snow on the ground, but she's just not feeling it this year. The wedding in her ex's family is almost here." Yeah, the wedding in her ex's family is almost here. Her daughter Lydia is bursting at the seams to be a flower girl, and Holly couldn't be dreading it more. She told a little white lie about having a new boyfriend as her +1, hoping to save face. She needs a date for the wedding, and she needs it now. Ryan Caldwell wants to be free this holiday season, so even he isn't sure how he landed in Shelter Springs looking after his niece Audrey, with his estranged father down the road. But when he meets Holly, she makes him want to belong for the very first time. So they make a deal. He'll be her date if she'll help him give Audrey a true Christmas to remember while her mom is away. What starts as a simple agreement soon becomes so much more. In this season of second chances and new beginnings, little Lydia will help Holly and Ryan see that risking your heart is the only way to live. Her books are so festive and so atmospheric and so feel good that it's going to be a quick but lovely read. I have A Winter of Sweet Secrets by Heidi McKayan. A Winter of Sweet Secrets by Heidi McKayan. This cover looks so much like one of my favorite reads from last year, which I don't remember what it was called, but it was about the guy who answers the ad that the woman's friends put in the newspaper about a husband. And he answers the ad because he needs to marry someone so that he can get health insurance for his daughter who needs it. And they do this marriage of convenience so that they can have this health insurance for the little girl. And of course, they all fall in love with each other and build a family. And I loved that one so much. I don't remember what it's called, but I own it and I love it. The cover is very, very similar to this, which is why I think I bought this. Let's find out what it's actually about. It says, for generations, the Evergreen Candy Company has been a beloved small-town Alaskan tradition run by Jovi Wright's family until now. With her grandparents no longer at the helm, Jovi's parents are considering selling it. When her sister calls with the news, Jovi hops on a plane back to help rescue the family business. Her plan? Launch Grammy's salted caramel chews as a new product. But with Grammy's memory fading and the recipe missing, Jovi has her work cut out for her. Still reeling from being jilted by her fiancé, Jovi welcomes the distraction of trying to recreate the recipes from scratch. The distraction she's not so sure about is single dad Burke Solomon. The disillusioned author and his adorable little girl have moved into his late aunt's cabin just down the street from her grandparents' home, where she's staying. And the discovery that their families have been feuding since before either of them were born is too irresistible to ignore. With a looming deadline and the stresses of single parenthood, the last thing Burke needs is a bright-eyed optimist like Jovi next door. But he finds himself asking for her help adjusting to life in Evergreen more than he'd like to admit, and untangling the history of what happened to the friendship between his late aunt and Jovi's Grammy provides an antidote to his writer's block. But when Burke unearths several shocking family secrets, will revealing them settle the feud or bring everything he and Jovi have been working toward crashing down around them? And I just realized this is going to be a Christian romance. This is a love-inspired. So this is a Christian romance. So if you're looking for something that will be clean and probably have something faith-based in it, this might be the one for you. I didn't even realize that when I got it. Not a Christian romance, but looking very cute, is B.K. Borison's Good Spirits. This isn't even a special copy. This is just what the least expensive copy of this looks like, which is so festive. This is an Avon, and I have not yet read anything by B.K. Borison. I do have Love Light Farms, which took the world by storm a few years ago, which I got a used copy of. I got a Better World Books copy of it, and was going to read it last year, but didn't get to it. And so I have two B.K. Borisons on my list. Let's look first at the brand new one, the one that came out this year. This is Good Spirits, and I think this might be more up my alley. It's giving me the vibes of the one that I read about Christmas, the spirit of Christmas, like manifesting as a person to give somebody 3 wishes and everything goes delightfully wrong with every wish. What was that one, which I read a few years ago, which I really, really loved? It was really funny. So this one has more of that like fantastical element to it, which I think I might enjoy more than a straight up romance like this one. So let's see. It says, fall in love with the ghost of Christmas past in this magical romance from the New York Times bestselling author of Love Light Farms and First Time Caller. He's the ghost of Christmas past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas past, Nolan Callahan intends to spend this holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost awaiting the afterlife. But when he is faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. But as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together and realize there might be more to moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's pasts, or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging in their unexpected spirited connection? Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to enjoy this one. Oh, this one has that fun catch the light thing too. I definitely think I'm going to enjoy this one, but let's just remind ourselves what Love Light Farms is about. Love Light Farms, same author. This one says, 2 best friends fake date to reach their holiday happily ever after in this first romantic comedy in the Love Light series. A pasture of dead trees. A hostile takeover of the Santa barn by a family of raccoons, and shipments that have mysteriously gone missing. Love Light Farms is not the magical winter wonderland of Stella Bloom's dreams. In an effort to save the Christmas tree farm she's loved since she was a kid, Stella enters a contest with Instagram famous influencer Evelyn St. James. With the added publicity and the $100,000 cash prize, Stella might just be able to save the farm from its financial woes. There's just one problem. To make the farm seem like a romantic destination for the holidays, she has lied on her application and said she owns Lovelight Farms with her boyfriend. Only there is no boyfriend. Enter best friend Luca Peters. He's just stopped by for some hot chocolate and somehow got a farm and a serious girlfriend in the process. But fake dating his best friend might be the best Christmas present he's ever received. Okay, that sounds sweet. That sounds very sweet. This may be my year for BK Borison. We'll see. We'll see. These two are holdovers from last year that I didn't get to. One is Sarah Morgan's The Holiday Cottage. And this one says, to the outside world, Imogen is a marketing dynamo. Her colleagues don't know that while her high-achieving professional image is real, the happy childhood stories she spins are as fake as her pretend enthusiasm for Christmas. Working 24/7 has always been her solution to surviving the festive season, until burnout leads to a catastrophic blunder. Suddenly, Imogen is handed a holiday gift she definitely doesn't want: enforced time off work to recuperate. Then an invitation arrives from her favorite client, Dorothy, to stay at her guest cottage in the Cotswolds. From the thatched roof to the cozy open fireplace, Holly Cottage is a picture-perfect haven. Can it provide the fresh start Imogen so desperately needs? For Dorothy, helping Imogen offers a longed-for chance to make reparations for her own past. But as her daughter Sarah keeps reminding her, it brings risks too. Yet Dorothy knows that only a leap of courage will allow her family to grow and heal, and perhaps this Christmas, with Dorothy's help, the new life that Imogen is slowly piecing together could be better than anything either of them could imagine. That sounds really good. Sounds really good. And then this is one of my favorite authors for like light fiction. I don't know why I didn't get to this one last year, but it fits right in with the Eiffel Tower theme for the Books Love Everyone book group, so I'll definitely prioritize this one. This is Rebecca Raisin's Christmas at the Little Paris Hotel, and I love Rebecca Raisin. I do. If I want a light, straight up, sweet, feel-good romance, I reach for a Rebecca Raisin, and, well, if I'm not reaching for a Sophie Kinsella or a Catherine Center, but I love Rebecca Raisin just as much, and she's just a little harder to find in the States. So I don't know why I haven't read this one. I'll put it on the top of my stack. It says, turn a tumble-down Paris hotel into a perfect boutique bookish retreat and have it open for Christmas? What could possibly go wrong? When Anais receives a near-derelict Paris hotel from her ex-husband, her first thought is to tidy it up and sell it immediately. All she wants is to move on and forget her disaster of a marriage ever happened. But selling it proves impossible, so she has one option: to make it gorgeous and open by Christmas. To make it gorgeous and open by Christmas, when her funds will almost certainly run out. She's not counting on grumpy American bar owner next door, Noah, coming and interfering at every moment, though, nor is she expecting to find a mysterious room, which holds the key to a 100-year-old secret about a woman who chose love against the odds. One thing is for sure: as the fairy lights twinkle all over the city of lights and the first snowflake starts to fall, this will be a Christmas in Paris to remember. I don't know why I haven't read this. I want to read it. I want to read it right now. I won't, but I want to. Let's double check the computer here. I know we've been going for a while. There are some books on Audible that I have that I know I will want to consider dipping in and out of. One of those books that I have on Audible that I will definitely be listening to is the second book in the Christmas Carols family series. This will be just a very quick listen. I listened to the first installment in this family's silliness. This is a young middle grade book series. It's about the Carols, and they love Christmas. And the first book was so sweet about them moving to the city, bringing Christmas to the city, and what the daughter and the Carol family realizing that not everyone loves Christmas as much as they love Christmas, and making a friendship with a boy who really needed some help and support, who just kind of accepts their weirdness. They are very weird. They love Christmas. And when I say they love Christmas, they absurdly love Christmas. So it's going to be very feel good. And so I'm really looking forward to reading the second book in that series, but I'll just be listening to it. I listened to the first one. I will listen to the second one. I think that they lend themselves very, very well to a listen. If you're driving somewhere and you have kids in the car, check out the book on your Libby app, because I don't think you'll be sorry. It's a fun listen for adults and kids alike. The next one that I have is a really short story. It's one of the books that Katie at Books and Things is reading for her short story Christmas read along. I'm not going to read the other ones because I've read them before and I'm not looking to read them again, but I haven't read this one, and that is Mary Elizabeth Braden's The Christmas Hirelings. And if you have an Audible account, you can actually listen to this for free. It's a short story. It's very, very short. And it is it's by Mary Elizabeth Braden, and it is or Braden, however you say it. And it is, according to Katie, it's about these old men who get together at this manor house during the Victorian times, and it's the Christmas season, and they start to realize that Christmas isn't Christmas without children. And so they're like, let's hire some. Let's hire some kids and bring them here to bring Christmas to us. And Katie says it's delightful. It sounds delightful. And I will definitely prioritize giving that a listen. It's a short story, so it will be very quick. Also from Audible, I have Audible original called Miss Bennet, Christmas at Pemberley. It's not coming out until December 4th, but I really, really want to listen to it. It says, step into the warm holiday glow of Pemberley Estate and witness an unexpected romance unfold in Miss Bennet, Christmas at Pemberley. At last, bookish middle sister Mary Bennet, forever eclipsed by her sister's romantic escapades, takes center stage. Mary's world brightens with possibility when a surprising gentleman arrives for Christmas at the Darcy residence. Their shared intellectual passions and endearing social awkwardness create immediate sparks, capturing the essence of Jane Austen's beloved masterpiece while infusing it with crackling contemporary wit and humor. This delightful continuation breathes new life into the cherished characters and world of Pride and Prejudice. That is my gigantic stack of possibilities for this December. I won't get to all of these. There's no way. But some of them will read super fast. I'll get to a lot more than it may feel like. This has been a really long video. Thanks for sticking it out with me. Probably gonna watch a Hallmark movie now that I've read all the synopses for all these Hallmark movie sounding Christmas romance books. I think there's such a good balance though between the not at all related to Christmas books, the Christmas adjacent books, the winter books, and the Christmas books. There's like super feel good, kind of dark as well. Like the whole spectrum is there. Yeah, there'll be some really good storytelling here and some very mediocre storytelling here, and I'll love it all. I will. I'll love it all. And what doesn't get read this year? You know, there's always next year. Always next year. Until we meet again, let's go read.